Hey guys, what's going on? It's Moltritz. Thank you for viewing this video and welcome to my channel. Last week was weekly chat number 1. This week is number 2. We're gonna go over pet battles, some stuff coming with patch 7.1.5, the Nighthold raid, secondary stats, Brawlers Guild, the RNG of the game, everything that people love, everything that people dislike. I hope you guys enjoy this commentary. I wanted to throw this intro back onto it. I started off a little slow and groggy, but I quickly build my pace and I stay steady through the whole dungeon. Guys, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get rolling. I actually decided to start off on the mount because I was like, you know what, I want to get a speedy start. I always run down through there with a bear. I figured maybe it'd save us a couple seconds. We might need it by the time we get to the end of this. So, like I said before, this is weekly chat number 2. This week I want to talk about what I've been doing in World of Warcraft and some different topics that's going to be happening, like patch 7.1.5. We'll hit secondary stats again because that's going to be important. I want to touch on pet battles. And I want to go over like the importances of Mythic Plus and like what you should be doing to help out your group and stuff like that. So let's start off with what I've been doing. I have been doing some Mythic Pluses. This one was from today. It's a +6. I've done a +7, but beyond that, I find that either my skill isn't there or my gear's not there yet. I'm 863, so I know I should be able to get pretty close to like 8 or 9, but I don't think I can quite cap off a 10 unless I'm really doing something bad. But I don't think I am, guys. I got this pretty well down. I feel comfortable with what I'm doing. Like right here, I hit my oh shit button. I get some decreased damage and then I regen my health back. I think the healer kind of didn't pay attention for a minute. We have a paladin healer. We have an elemental shaman. We have a warlock and a demon hunter. I almost said Death Knight. Demon Hunter that can dash around and actually get some interrupts off, so it's going to help us going through here. So, the patch is going to come out for Nighthold, and it's not actually going to be like a patch number. It's not going to be like patch 7.1.5 or patch 7.2. It's just coming out January 18th, I believe. So like a little bit less than a month, we'll have the new Nighthold raid. I'm not sure if you have to get attunement with Nighthold, but I know there's a quest series leading up to actually unlocking the Nighthold for your solo experience. So if it's anything like else in Suramar, it's going to be like Keystone or like locked behind that. You're gonna need to get an attunement for it. So start on the Insurrection achievement. It's right in your tab, you can look at it. If you've done the Suramar line, then it should pop up right away, like if you already have the main things like your Arkandor tree and different stuff in Suramar. Without saying too much for those of you who haven't done the Suramar quest line, but guys, you have like 11 chapters, and in my opinion, I think Suramar is like the largest questing zone in the whole, like, it's like basically an end game in itself, the Suramar zone. You got the city there, you can get your disguise, do different things in there, and deal with the guards, and then you have like all your outcast people on the outside that you get to bring in. But it's super long, like I said. I actually worked on it for like 2 weeks off and on. I'm not as hardcore of a player as I used to be, so like I work on stuff for like an hour or a half an hour, and then I go do something else. Like I'll do Mythic Pluses for 2 hours, then I'll go work on like regular questing for half an hour or something, just to get something done to break it up a little bit. It's important on this fight, especially on Mythic 6, that you get the hell out of the lane that the dragon's coming in. And my healer didn't, but I got a battle res, so I hit him back up. He's like, my bad. And I was like, you know, it's really not that big of a deal, but it is when you're in a Mythic Plus, especially a +6, because it's reducing your overall time, and it's just taking away from like our 3 chest or our 2 chest. As you can see, the timer is 23 minutes. That is for a 3 chest. That's why it's gold. That add-on is called Angry Keystones. I really like it. I've seen Asmongold using it. I've been watching his live stream a little bit more lately because I've been home, because our work slowed down a little bit because it's the middle of winter here in upstate New York and it's frozen. But we can still do some stuff. We just need to have some work actually roll in for us. The guild's been doing pretty darn awesome. I'm happy with it. We're getting more people online and getting more members in general, so we can start building up our activity base. I'm the guild leader of the Night Watch Guild here on Darkspear US, and we're getting some pretty cool members. I enjoy talking to the guys. We got Discord and stuff where we can BS, and the Mythic Pluses are really handy when you have a guild to run them with, because it's really going to help you out, because you're going to have an advantage, because you'll already be on voice chat together, you'll be comfortable with each other, you'll know the play skill of who you're playing with. That's a big thing, because not everybody is going to be as bad as you or as good as you. And I mean that, like, you know, in a positive and a bad way. Like, if you're doing bad, not everybody's going to be bad, but not everybody's going to be top notch either. So it's hard to say how it's going to work out, but that's why you see me have this little damage meter up here. Because besides me and the healer, that's going to tell you the rest of your group's overall performance. So it'll actually, like, instead of just guessing who's doing better in your guild, you'll actually have the numbers right there and you'll be able to tell. That's like my one homie, Matt Swaggin. He's a hunter, and I've been on his butt. Like, I always tease him because he gets not paying attention. All of a sudden I see his DPS meter start dropping, and I'm like, what's wrong? And all of a sudden I say, hey Matt, will you fall asleep or something? And then like 30 seconds later it picks right back up, and he's like second place in DPS. I think he's a Beastmaster hunter. I mean, it's nice to have a diverse group. It's really important though, when you're in a high level Mythic Plus, to make sure that you have a heroism. Like, it can either be from a mage, the time warp, or heroism from the shaman. You just need something to help burn down the time. I know roads have an invisibility that can like cloak the group, which can get you past a couple mob groups, which could really help speed things up, especially at the higher levels like this, because they got so much, like they got 47% more health and they do a lot more damage. And that's why interrupts are very crucial, to make sure that like you also have a heroism, but you make sure that the people that are in your group are comfortable doing their interrupts, or just know who they should be interrupting. Like on this fight, you should be doing the Mystic, like making sure his heals don't get off or anything. And I think people learn that as they play, but when you're fighting against the timer, you need to make sure they're not healing each other and taking any longer to get down. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited for the Brawlers Guild. I can't wait to go in there as a Guardian and just tank some people down. I'm not sure if there's an overall time limit on it, because I did it on my other account back in the day. It was like Mr. Pandaria, I'm pretty sure was the one time I went to the Brawlers Guild. So I have like, you know, I have no remembrance of it. I did an update video about the things that are coming, so I can't wait. There's going to be a Basilisk mount. There's a bunch of different shirts, and I even think there's achievements linked. There's dozens of new bosses. So the Brawlers Guild is really looking up. I've been hearing a lot of people talk on the forums and on different YouTube videos about Legion being too like RNG, they call it, like random number generated. What they mean is like the Warforged system, your Titan forging, making your gear level up, like that's completely random. Also, legendaries are random. So I've been hearing a lot of concerns that people think that just overall there's too much randomness in Legion. Like, you don't have a guaranteed thing, like where you can just say, I'm gonna work towards this piece of gear, like let's say a set piece, like with a set piece bonus, like a tier piece. You used to get a token from the boss, and it was for a bunch of different classes. Then you'd go and hand in that token. I'm talking like back in Burning Crusade. So they should really like have something like that, in my opinion, where like there's tokens that you could build up, you know, or something, so you have a guaranteed piece, but also like some of them can be random. Like, let's say you can get tokens for every piece, but the tokens build up really slow. So by the time you get all of your gear, you probably would only have 3 token pieces, because that's all that you earned. So your whole gear set wouldn't be token gear, so it wouldn't be like one straightforward path. So it'd be kind of a mix between like the tokens you earn for the gear and also randomness. So that would make players feel a little bit more in control of their own destiny. And I think that there's an importance to both of those things. I think it's important to have randomness, so it's not always a straightforward path, so you're not always like, I have X amount of days until I do this. Like let's say I have 12 days until I get 2 pieces of gear. Like that could be really monotonous and boring. But if I say I only have to grind for a day plus I might get a random other piece, you're kind of doing a little bit of both worlds. And I think that might balance out. But also I'm not a game designer, and that's just coming from my personal experiences. Going back to the Mythic Plus and like how important it is to interrupt, I was at like level 4s and 5s with like the same gear, and if I was in a group that would not interrupt, like a Mythic +4, we were doing +4 Halls of Valor, that's 2 levels lower than this, and I had a group that would not interrupt. Like I have a Skull Bash, and I have a like stun, and I have a roar. I have 3 things that could potentially interrupt, but the Skull Bash is the main thing I have to use on most mobs if it's like a spell being cast. Sometimes the Bash they're immune to if it's like a boss or something, and the Roar won't affect them. So if I have to stun everything in the darn instance, we're gonna wipe if our healer can't keep up, like if our healer's not boss. And people think like you're a bad tank if you can't take all the damage from those mobs and continue on your way. But the thing is they're intentionally making it that much harder with each increased Mythic Plus level to purposefully bring out those attributes. Because like when you're running Mythic normal, do you ever worry about putting your stuns in? Not really. I mean, you would if you're right there and you're gonna do it, but you're running a Mythic +6 also. Now it's to the point where you have to stun. And this is really neat right here. So I was just talking about my stuns. See, my Skull Bash has already been used. I can't interrupt that, so someone else had to. By the time they interrupted it, our healer died, and one other person standing next to him died. So it was like one of those things that I was doing everything I could, but I couldn't interrupt that, so it ended up killing our healer. And he's like, what? And then I eventually type out like, you know, we can't be standing in the... someone has to interrupt that. Like, my interrupt was down. Let me get a drink of water. As you can see, those little purplish pools on the ground there are the Sanguine. Like, it just drops on the non-boss mobs. And it'll heal the enemies if they stand in it, and it'll damage you if you stand in it. So being a tank, it's really important that I keep kiting them. Like, maybe in a circle, maybe straight back, depending on how much room I have. I was trying to tell him that I'll res the other guy while he's getting mana, but he cast like a full res, but it really wasn't that important. I mean, we're not that hardcore into Mythics, like we're not doing a +15, like where it would actually be a huge difference. But it's just those little teeny things that if you can save yourself some time now, it'll really help out in the end. That chick just did like basically what the boss does, like shoots the flame out of her shield, like the holy flame. But it'll damage everybody heavy in the group if they don't get out of that. And that's another important example of just like abilities that you gotta make sure you're executing the mechanics on correctly if you want to increase your Mythic Plus level. Going back to that Mythic +4 Halls of Valor, we got all the way to the last boss here, and if you've guys done Halls of Valor, you know Odin summons an ad. And the ad starts doing an AoE, it's a surge cast, and if someone doesn't interrupt that surge cast, it'll damage the group extremely heavy, and then he'll cast it faster the next time, and then faster and faster, and then it'll just wipe your whole group very quick. So it's important that it gets interrupted the first time and every time, and you burn the DPS down. Well, no one, it would just be really unfortunate circumstances in that group, like, he cast the bubble where you need to get out, like the holy ring where he's gonna kill you if you're inside of it, but the ad would be casting that spell, and we had like no ranged interrupt. So all of a sudden it was like, oh shoot, what are we gonna do now? So the guild, like we set up a guild run the other night, and we're gonna do Heroic Nethendra. Keep in mind, like only 4 of my guildmates showed up, 4 or 5, 4. It was like 5 including me, but 4 other guildmates showed up. So we had to pug a bunch of people. Like, we had to pug like 7 people or whatever, or 8 people. Well, it was so freaking bad. I didn't realize the difficulty difference between normal Nethendra, the first boss in Emerald Nightmare, and Heroic Nethendra, because that was a big step up. It wasn't like going from a Mythic 1 to a 2. It was like going from a Mythic to a Mythic +8 or something. It was like, holy crap. All of a sudden, like, you had to put your big boy pants on. And we wiped right away the first time because people were not getting the corruption out of the way. Like, they would get corrupted, they would run to the side and blow up. Then the rest of the group would have to freaking run around their corruption, or would, like, put the corruption in a bad spot. Then the off tank was not in Discord, which I told him I wanted him to be, but if he could stay out as long as he didn't mess up. Well, he was messing up when to taunt all the time, so I was like, oh my gosh. It just made it twice as hard as it had to be, because if everybody's in Discord, you can just grind them down. Nathendra, you can just grind her down, him down, whatever. Like, just make sure you follow mechanics and no one takes the super abundance of damage, and the tanks, you know, switch taunt in the appropriate time. You're all good to go. Right here, you just seen heroism go up. It's really important that your shaman pops at first thing in an instance, and then last thing. Like, you want to make sure you get 2 of them. A lot of times a shaman will wait and, like, say, well, should I pop it? And it's like the second boss, and you're like, well, not now, because we'll have the debuff by the time we get to the last boss. With this, Herdja, you want to make sure, Hydra, whatever the heck your name is, you want to make sure you move her from side to side on Mythic. I don't know if you guys, like, you probably know that, but just saying, those of you who don't. The ability for this week, or like the special thing with the weekly bonus, that's what I should say, the weekly bonus for this week is increased pet battle experience by 200%. So you can level up anything twice as fast, and that's really important for your Falcosaurs. You want to make sure your Falcosaurs are getting leveled up so you can do the quest after they hit level 25, and then eventually get yourself that Falcosaur mount. And if you're going after a Falcosaur, which if you don't know what they are, they're these new like raptors that were added into the game in patch 7.1. If you're going after the Falcosaur pet, you want to make sure that you look up the specific thing that helps you tame that pet, because there's an item, like one of them needed Azunian grapes, the other one needed dried bilberries, I believe it was. So like you can kill the matriarch, and then you could go and find the baby, but if you don't have that item, you can't tame him, so you just kind of wasted your time. But if you accidentally go there and you forgot the item, I actually had time to go back, buy the item for the vendor, and then run back, and the orphan was still there. So I'm not sure if he stays there until someone adopts him, or if he just has like an hour despawn or something. As you can see with the timer, we have 27 minutes overall left. We have 5 deaths, which the Angry Keystone keeps track of that, which is really nice. So you can kind of like, you know, you see what's going on and you can bitch at whoever's dying too much. I just want to get this group out of the way first. And the reason that I marked the archer instead of the healer, because I'm going to focus the healer and I'm going to interrupt his heals, and the archer jumps back and potentially could grab more groups. So I wanted them to get the archer freaking down. Like you see right there, jump back. If she jumps one more time, she'll draw the 3 of those people over there, and that could wipe you on this sort of mythic. So you want to make sure of that. The overall experience of Legion has been actually pretty good for me. Like, even though that there is like problems, like I was saying, with too much stuff being RNG, like you know, random number generated, just the overall bundle of the quests that are available, instead of having the same old dailies, you kind of have world quests now, which switches it up because they're in the same area but you get different ones, and it feels like you're not doing the same exact crap every day because your emissary changes up, but you can like still do other world quests even after your emissary. It's just that they give you a lot of rewards intermittently, like in between things, where back in the day, like in Burning Crusade, like you just do the quest and get the reward from the quest, and that was your whole thing. Like there was no emissary to work up towards, like there wasn't going to be another chest and artifact power. But the whole system and the weapon grind in this game is interesting. Like, I shouldn't say interesting, it's unique, like the way they did it, in my opinion. But also, I see there's a lot of potential for people just to get completely ground out of their spec, like just get completely bored out of their mind about what they're playing. Because I've been Guardian tanking now since the beginning of Legion, but I'm like kind of forced to do more Mythic pluses if I want to make sure that my artifact power is up there and I'm continually leveling up my item. Like I'm almost maxed out now, so I'm pushing even harder than before, but it just keeps you running the same material over and over again. Like you run this on normal, then you run it on heroic, like the Halls of Valor, then you run Mythic Halls of Valor, then you start doing your Keystones. It's like by the time you get to a higher level Keystone and you're consistently running a higher level Keystone, you're like, you know the fights, which is important to run the Keystones, but also it gets pretty grindy in my opinion. Like it's like the same old stuff. But that's why I've been trying to spice it up a little bit. I've been playing Moonkin spec, so I've been throwing some artifact power into that. The artifact catch-up will definitely help once patch 7.1.5 hits. If you guys haven't seen that, it's the artifact compendium. I've done a video on it, so if you're watching this, like, continue through, but make sure you click onto my channel or hit subscribe, and you'll see that in my videos once you go on to that. Right here on this part, you're going to want to make sure you just skip the dragon. I tried to miss the bull, but he ended up getting me. And these things are actually a pain in the butt when you're on a higher level mythic. Like, geez, they hit you very hard when they start doing their stomps and stuff. And the thing is, when you're a bear, like, it takes you a little bit to get your defenses up, because you need to, like, build your rage and then use your defenses. But you don't have a defense right off the bat. So they can get you down pretty quick, and you just gotta make sure you keep on your rotation, get yourself rejuvenated with frenzied regeneration, and then you're all good to go. Another trick right here with this mythic is, because it's not important on normal or anything, but to head down here to the lake. Like, you can outrun the bulls in the lake, but I was making sure I didn't drag away from my team and get killed and then take more time away. But like, once you get these bulls in the water, they'll bunt you away, and then it'll take them a minute to catch up to you. And if you have any slowing abilities, it works perfect because it slows them down, takes them even longer to get to you. And like, I could pop travel form if I wanted to and outrun the bull once he's slowed down, and I won't take any damage at all. So it's not really like an exploit, but it's just kind of like, you know, take advantage of your surroundings. Like, that's what the game's for. That's why you have slow movement in the water. And another thing is you see straight ahead there's the trail. Follow that up around into the bridge, and you'll skip like all those Viking guys. You won't have to mess with them at all. I was just making sure he was dead right here. I want to turn back around. I was like, yeah, get your ass down. A lot of my guild mates have been leveling alts right now because of the artifact compendium. Basically, what the artifact compendium will do in patch 7.1.5 is it'll make it like, let's say you have 10 artifact levels on your main character. On your alt, you'll be able to buy an artifact compendium, and it'll instantly make you level 10. So then whenever you get artifact power from the world, it'll be as if you're level 10. So you get so much artifact power at first. Like, you'll level 2 times off a single empowerment. And also, there is a BOA empowerment, but it's only for 100 artifact power, which I wish they would do more buy on account artifact power, but they kept it at that really low number. So basically, if you get the 100 or whatever, you can put it on your alt. The only time I got the 100 artifact power BOA item was out of a bag for doing a random raid, I think it was. Wasn't that? Yeah, it was some sort of bag from doing a dungeon. I speed my team up. I'm like, let's get rolling, boys. I'm gonna take another sip of water. It's delicious. This is a long commentary, but I like having these weekly chats. The last one turned out pretty good, I thought. My filter for my audio was a little off, so it sounded like I was slurring my words a little bit, so I was aggravated with that, to say the least, because it takes about like 3 hours to render this, and like, you know, obviously I have to do a 30-minute commentary. I have to play the Mythic the first time, so you got a lot of time invested into it. So if the video doesn't come out good, you're like, oh damn, you know, it really sucks. It kind of hurts, but that's just part of doing YouTube. You're gonna have those blunders and steps and stuff. These wolves are really important that you get a stun on them. You see how low I just dropped? I was within 1 hit of dying. If you don't stun them, they'll just freaking mash you down very, very quick. And there'd be nothing you could do about it. Especially if they're in the necrotic, or excuse me, the sanguine, like the pile of stuff. they're getting healed and they're just AoEing you down. Be a bad day. If you can, with the debuff that, you know, makes the pile come out, the like Icar, the Seguin, make sure you try to spread DPS if you guys have like a group that can do AoE DPS, because that way you can just drop everything in one group and not worry about continually kiting and potentially pulling more mobs. I seen like probably a month back that they put Fenrir was the deadliest boss in Legion as of that time, killing like 17 million people or something, which is crazy. But then all of a sudden you realize once you hop on a Mythic Plus, like that's probably where most of the deaths come from. It didn't come from normal or heroic, it came from Mythic. He has really unique abilities for a boss too. I like just how, like, you know, he's like kind of a god, he's like a legend, and he's got all these markings, and he's like wounded, but he's still a freaking beast to fight. Like, you're not just gonna drop him and run away and be like, tee-hee, that was fun. You know, like that sort of deal. It looks really neat to me if you guys were watching BlizzCon about the new patch that's going to be coming out. I'm talking after 7.2, like where we're actually going to, I believe it's called Argus, the home world of the Legion. It's like there's endless opportunities of what they can do there. Can you guys even imagine? Like, put what you think in the comments. Put what you think is actually going to be in that expansion. Like, if there's going to be like new physics, if they're going to try new material. Because for some reason I see being on a spaceship, like heading into the world. Like, I was thinking it would be more World of Warcraft for like a portal, but like for some reason I just feel like there's going to be some sort of scene or cutscene like where there's a Legion ship involved that we like hijacked or something. I think that'd be really cool and it'd be neat, but I'm not positive. Guys, just leave what you think. I love the speed boost that you get after killing Fenrir, because it's like you can outrun so many mobs if you wanted to, but they eventually, you know, catch your ass down. I wonder if the road special ability that gets you past groups, if you could like run past a bunch of things and then pop that, if it would like take you out of combat. Or I wonder if you can't be in combat and use it. That's probably the deal. You probably have to start it before combat. I didn't know, someone told me you could fall off this bridge, like I guess if you're angled the wrong way or something, you just die. The Halls of Valor, like this same theme, is the Warriors class hall. I was watching Asmongold, he went to his class hall, and I thought he was in the instance, but it's actually like you're just in with the gods of Valishar, you know, and it kind of fits in with their story because they're like brawlers and they're all about glory and honor, and when you think of those things, it kind of reminds you of a warrior. It's good to get these guys in around the corner, but what's nice is that now that you have the speed boost, you can outrun a lot of their charges and stuff. If you took them on beforehand, it would have been a heck of a ordeal to try to run around and avoid all that AoE. I was thinking that the chest timer said 7 minutes 50 seconds for a 2 chest, but I forgot. We have to kill God King Skovald and Odin, so we'd have to push both of those fights at like 3 minutes, and I think it's going to take longer than that. If you look at the DPS meter, the Warlock has been running like 170k, which I'm running 144k overall, like through the whole instance. So that's pretty darn low for him to be just doing over me. So if we probably had an adequate DPS for that position that was doing like 250k, even the Shaman's doing 300, the Elemental, if we had someone of that caliber, it probably would have added up over time. And also, if they paid attention to the mechanics and didn't get Cleansing Fire down and someone interrupted that, we would have been good, but it's all hindsight. It's 2020, you know. I just pointed it out so you guys know what I was thinking, like, went wrong with this run. I was thinking it was a little bit low on the DPS, because, in my opinion, for doing the Mythic Plus 6 and controlling everything, I feel like I did a pretty good job in this run. You guys let me know what you think. There might have been a few parts where I could have pulled the mobs faster, but I feel like I handled the mobs once I had them very well. I made sure I had the aggro and everything was going good, and I used my proper rotation and made sure my interrupts were up and try to keep things flowing. Like right there, I dragged the boss over here so I can click on the next boss right away. There's no downtime, no in-between time. I was watching Preach, and he's a fellow YouTube content creator, and he was talking about like your duty as the tank is to make sure that the healer has mana. You have aggro, obviously, but he says too many tanks focus on aggro, like that's all they're like, oh, make sure I have aggro here, make sure I have aggro there. He's like, your job is so much more than having aggro. It's about making sure the run goes smooth, it goes fast, you don't overpull, your healer has mana, you know how to read your healer, because a lot of people mana up relatively quickly, so you'd be kind of sitting there waiting for them to mana up, then by the time you type something, they're full mana, and they're like, hey man, go, what are you waiting for? This is a Mythic Plus, don't be screwing around, and you're like, oh shoot. So a lot of it's about being comfortable with your people. Like I was saying before, going back to the guild, with the guild group, it's so much better. Like, we can bring in under-geared players and outperform having a higher geared group just because we're communicating. We could say, you know, focus the caster, focus this guy. And there's a lot to be said about that, because the less damage I take is more mana on the healer, the longer we can run. And if everybody's communicated, I know as soon as I lose aggro ASAP, so I can reduce the amount of group damage and keep everybody faced away. And I was just looking at chat, I didn't realize my guildmates like anybody on, and I just like totally ignore them. I'm like, nah man, nope, I ain't on, I'm tanking right now. Usually when I'm tanking, like, I totally ignore chat, because like, you know, my duty is to be tanking. I wish there was like a way that they just like minimized all chat, but like game chat to like really make you focus. But I see where people could get aggravated with that if you couldn't see your guild chat, and they're like, oh, you didn't see that? I said raid was starting in 40 minutes, and you're like, oh, I was tanking. You know, so that might not work out so hot. I want you guys, we're talking about how we like Legion. Make sure you leave that in the comments. I'm really curious to see if like I'm just really like still in the honeymoon phase with this game and like, oh man, it's great, or if other people are still thinking it's cool too. Because I've seen a lot of Reddit posts that were on the negative side of things, but the more I learn about Reddit, I kind of feel like that's the whole Reddit community. Like, not the whole community, I shouldn't have said that, but that's the majority of people who are outspoken on Reddit are complete haters. Like, I can post a video on Reddit, say exactly what it is, this and that, and people will just thumbs it down because I'm posting my own video. It's not like I'm spamming Reddit. They have moderators, like, they'll control the flow, but, like, they'll just see that my Reddit name is It's Moltritz, and then I'll post a video for Moltritz, and they'll just instantly go on and leave a hate comment and thumbs down my video just because I'm promoting myself. Like, hey, if I'm making this, I hope it's decent, I hope it's good content, I want to promote myself. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, shouldn't you be, like, helping everybody promote themselves to promote the community as a whole? Like, if there's more people, let me put it this way, if there's more people making YouTube content about World of Warcraft, it's gonna reach other people that might not even be in the World of Warcraft, because let's say a content creator like does Call of Duty and he starts making World of Warcraft videos, and I support him. Maybe his first 20 World of Warcraft videos aren't good, or 30 or 40 videos aren't good, but I could see the potential and I support him. And then he brings Call of Duty people into a new aspect, like into the MMO, because they're like, well, I really like this guy, so I'm going to see him play World of Warcraft. And it makes a cross genre community, like between FPS and RPG, or strategy and RPG. You know, like, you get the gist of what I'm saying. If more people are exposed to it, the more likelihood that someone's going to pick it up and play it. And a lot of the feel to games is the hype. And if everybody's like, you know, saying that they really love their game and like being outspoken about their support of it, you're also going to create hype for other people to want to play. Like, man, he keeps saying how much he likes this game. Yeah, I hear about the haters, but this game must be pretty good, because no matter what those other people say, he's still standing up for it, and he's saying what he believes in. I think there's a lot to be said about that in smaller YouTubers, like standing up for themselves, standing up for what they really feel, and not just going with the general flow. And I've tried to do that as much as I can. Like with my resurrection video that I made, my last video, I thought that I was kind of going against the flow a little bit. Like, I'll link it at the end of this video, so when the videos pop up, it'll be one of the ones that you can click on to go to. And I felt like I was going against the stream a little bit, and then I'd get more backlash for doing that. But I also felt like once someone heard my perspective too, that if they remotely felt the same way, that they would comment and say something or thumbs it up and be like, yeah, I support that too. Because I feel like too many people want to, like basically what I touched on in that video was the core of the game. And I feel like that means a lot of things to a lot of different people. So that's very subjective when you say the core of the game. But just one of the things that kind of like I thought was if you start changing like the way you resurrect, the spirit system, where the spirit healer is, like the idea of how a resurrection works. Like some people are talking about like, oh, you need to make it like waypoints, like that's the ad right there that I was talking about. That boy needs to be interrupted. Whenever we have to run away, the range has to interrupt him. And that's a crucial part. This group does a great job, but my +4 mythic group did a terrible job. So that's like one of the things. Like you could do a 2 higher mythic because you're interrupting than if you didn't. Probably even 3 or 4 if everybody had their interrupts. You know, like you could do a level 3 or 4 higher than normal if you interrupt and focus target DPS down. That's super critical. That right here, the Radiant Tempest Strike, is what throws us off because you have to run away, and then that range has to still interrupt if that adds up. If that ad hasn't been killed and you have to run away, like it's really hard. And that's where a lot of groups will go down when you're doing Halls of Valor. I don't know about you guys, Halls of Valor looks pretty, it's fun, but the length of it really kills the vibe for me. Like I'll do 1 or 2 a week, but I'm not gonna chain run Halls of Valor like someone might do Maw of Souls. I'm a big fan of Maw of Souls. I like the feel of all the fights there, I like the diversity, and I like the speed of it. You cover a lot of ground, but also it goes by quick. So you get to experience a lot of stuff, like you get teleported into cages and you're on the inside of the ship, you know, like you're a prisoner. The first part you're fighting bosses and there's like birds coming down, you're going across the bridge. There's a lot of cool things. Odin is really a fun fight in the Trial of Valor. There we go. We got ourselves a 1 chest. I got my Keystone upgraded by 1, so now it's a +7 Keystone. That was mine. That's why you could see it at the beginning. I have a quest for unlocking Illidan, but I reached my Lingering Soul Fragment cap for the week, so I just got 6 and it counted towards nothing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this weekly chat. We went over a lot of stuff. I think we talked about some important things, some entertainment things, and just some things. I don't know why I keep saying things. It's been a long talk, so I'm running out of stuff to say. After so long, you're just like, man, I need to get off the microphone for a minute, take a drink, and chillax. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Everybody, have a great day. And if you're interested in Call of Duty content, check out my new channel, It's Moltritz. I throw up some gameplays on there, and I always have a nice KD ratio. Peace off, have a good one, and enjoy the videos that I'm going to link right now. Oh yeah, weekly chat number 2, signing off.